guys, it's Flowergothic in the flesh. Real quick before this part of This Is Why I Hate You begins. Onision. Greg, James, whatever. I know that you've been trying to take my channel down. So, I'm gonna strike a deal with you. If you stop trying to put copyright strikes on my channel, I will give you a platform, a live interview for you to try and confess your innocence. Okay? Okay. My DMs are open, baby.
Hello, gang, it is I, your goth mother, Madame Goth Flowergothic, and welcome to Chapter 2 of This Is Why I Hate You by none other than Onision. Unlike most of my readings of Onision's work, I'm actually doing this during the daytime because I kind of want to get this over with, because so far nothing has happened, and we're, 9 pages in out of 136. Let's get a move on, people! And also, I need a break from yelling about how Kingdom Hearts is not as good as I thought it was back when I was 10. So, without further ado, Chapter 2, A Need to Breed! It's been weeks since I last wrote in this journal. Alright, good. For once you recognize nothing interesting happens in your life. You could assume this was due to laziness, but I rarely suffer from that degenerative disease. And like Onision, who is so lazy, he just recycled James into Arthur! Here's the thing. I don't know what being unmotivated even feels like. I don't have the ability to sit around and loathe the idea of doing anything outside of wasting my time being lethargic. If something in my life needs to be done, I do it. I won't complain. I won't self-pity. I will do what is necessary. This journal has not been a priority to me till now. Okay? So actually give us a story then. My mother, Sarah Gale, brought to you for no reason whatsoever, taught me from day one to never feel sorry for myself, to never give up on what I believe in, and to never miss a positive opportunity when it's sitting right in front of me. She taught me a lot of things before she died. I could not be more grateful for her. The fact that she's dead in place of my father is a reality that drives me insane every time I'm reminded of it. You don't understand me, dude. I wish Mom was still alive, and you can stop forcing your vegetarianism on me. It took him all of 3 weeks to get a girlfriend after she died. He was in the hospital with her every day, talking about how much he loved her. Then she died. And what seemed like only a few blinks later, he literally got with a nurse who was working at the same goddamn hospital my mom drew her last breath in. Well, when someone you care about dies, you can do some really weird shit, okay? Okay? Her seduction of my freshly widowed father is one of the many reasons I hate that bleach blonde double-chinned freak. They're still together? After, 8 years? 9 years? 10 years? Random hookups usually don't last that long. Huh? You could say she just felt sympathetic towards my father, having just lost his wife. You might believe she just wanted him to feel better, but you would be wrong. If she really cared about doing what was right, she would have given him time. Instead, she took advantage of a desperate man in a tragic situation. You're not my real mom. You're not my real mom. You wouldn't understand me. I hate you, stepmom. You're such a bitch. Manipulative bitch. Seeing this woman's limp legs dangling from the side of a dumpster with garbage stains smeared down her calves would disturb me less than seeing her kiss my father. She's an invader. She's the destroyer of what little piece I had left in my own home. Moody bitch. Jerry is already talking about her moving in soon. After years? How long have they been together? When did the mom die? which means I will become even more forgotten in this household than I already am, even though there are just 2 people in this household, including a loving father. Literally, sports are of greater importance to Jerry than me. You got that right, another fat American white guy who watches sports, who just happens to be a vegetarian. They're a dime a million. My father is a wart on the backside of the human species. I'm superior to my father because I don't like sports. That's how it works, right? Right? Speaking of sports, I fantasized about a massive weapon going off in the middle of a major sporting event. What the fuck? Sure, it would be so incredibly sad. The horror, I know. Meanwhile, from a logical standpoint, the world wouldn't really suffer much, losing a condensed population of wasted and aimless lives, aka the millions of sports fans infesting this planet. You have jobs and families and people they love. You bitch! Those tiny insects gather together, watching one half-brain-dead man throw a ball to another brain-damaged man just so he can reach a made-up and meaningless goal. For what purpose do people professionally play sports? For entertainment? So they could collect millions of dollars yearly until their knees give out or their head gets cracked open? Then what? The majority of professional football players go bankrupt after they retire. Okay. The son of a woman my mom used to work with is most likely going to go into professional football. And he definitely deserves it. He's a super talented athlete who has been training since childhood. It's not really a brain-dead pursuit, Onision. I personally don't care about sports, but it's just because it's not my thing. It's other people's thing. It's just not my thing, okay? There's still a lot of effort that's put into it. Okay? What was it all worth? Would you not trade your memories for a body that isn't broken? It's just a game of numbers. There's no real depth, and it's so simple. The mere lack in intelligence or creativity is why so many generic and useless minds gravitate towards it. My college-educated parents watch sports a lot. Are you saying they're useless? Tired of getting confused by the complex reality of human existence? Here, monkey, watch sports! Then if you won't have to think anymore. And while you're at it, drink a beer. That'll dumb down your potential to do anything worthwhile with your time. Oh, fuck you! But some madman setting of a weapon, my bad, in a stadium. What does one insect killing a bunch of other insects really accomplish? Mass murder and tragedy. Nothing. There will always be more bugs to fill the gap, to continue the endless infestation and consumption of all the world's natural resources. I could hate the people in this world and take satisfaction in the thought of them dying. But I remain unwilling to do anything about their lives, as there is simply no point. Our lives are all pointless. Then why are you spending this chapter ranting about sports? To end a life is no easy task. You can pull a trigger, and in the physical sense, that's one of the simplest things you can do. But I'm not a sociopath, I say as I fantasize about a bomb going off at a sporting event. I'm not so stupid. I can see what a coward I am. I struggle with my will to live as is. Spilling blood on my hands would only give me another reason to duct tape a plastic bag around my head and walk off the ledge of a building. My life is so pointless and makes me sick. Living in general is pointless, but dying serves no purpose either. So what do? Of course I follow the pack and wait till the clock stops ticking. None of this is why I'm updating my journal. Ironically, despite my murderous imagination, I have managed to find myself in a completely contradictory position. The truth is, I've recently started dating a girl at school, named Ashley. I know what you might be thinking. Arthur, you've done nothing but hit on the entire human species up to this point. Why would you date one of them? Yeah, this came out of nowhere. What the fuck happened? The honest answer is she clearly likes me and I'm available. Ashley has been in my third period class for some time now. There's a reason she's laughed at every other thing I've said in the class. It's more than evident she likes me because I rarely talk, and when I do, what I'm saying isn't funny, but yet, she still finds amusement in me in every other sentence and regularly smiles at me. Ashley is a good-looking girl. She's pale-skinned, short, brunette. I really like her smile too. If that wasn't enough, my body, like most of every male body on this planet, demands I be physical with someone, so why not her? This is the human condition. We build illusions from our lives, love, friendship, and family. We think we take part of these aspects of life because we want to, as if any of it is truly a product of authentic free will. I mean, we all know that it's not really free will. We've seen Inside Out! If I were a robot that had the ability to learn and reflect on my existence, I might have a chance at free will. Without desires or bodily influences, me choosing to be a someone despite there being no clear advantage to my programming, operations, or physical body, I could argue the connection with them was legitimate. Now humans? We don't choose to be lonely or to have these desires, so how can we pretend free will was ever an option? Fuck you! Free will is the ability to act on one's own discretion. Discretion is the ability to decide what should and should not be done. Brought to you by the Department of Redundancy Department. How can you make your own decisions when really your body is most always doing that for you? If I had free will, I could choose to be gay. I could choose to be happy when I looked in the mirror. I could choose to enjoy life to its fullest, but I can't. I have a war going on in my mind, likely because I'm 17 and am no doubt rapidly developing, mentally. Teenagers like me are key examples of these influences destroying our free will. They leave us in shackles. Most of us are too stupid to know they're there. I would admire their bliss if it weren't paired with their undeniable mental inferiority. Ah, boy. I guess this is another view on how Onision views society? Goddamn, he's a fucking sociopath. Ashley is a product of my imprisonment. I literally have millions of little potential human lives screaming within me to impregnate her as soon as humanly possible. What the fuck? If we were to reproduce, I would no doubt love, quote-unquote, the children she produced. This is, of course, because if I didn't love them, then they would be less likely to effectively survive. If our species collectively lost love for children, our species itself would begin to die off. We would leave our children in the streets to die. We wouldn't feed them or at times even risk our safety for them because we weren't pre-programmed to care. Free will? It's a joke so ridiculously personal, you can't even laugh. All most of us do is pretend we never got slammed with the reality of our true condition so we can continue that believing the lie that is freedom. You reading this right now will think about your little life in response to this information. Not really, no, I just want there to actually be a story, but no, it's just 14 pages of rants. You may even admit how insignificant it is, but what will you do then? Nothing. You'll barely remember these words in a week, maybe even as soon as 12 hours from now. We do this so we can continue existing without disrupting seemingly endless years worth of evolution. You don't think there was a failsafe put in your brain to deal with the possibility that you might actually realize one day it's all for nothing? We're just animals, that's a fact. We're holding out in hopes that someday we will evolve into something that might actually offer value to the universe. Aside from being self-aware as to how trivial and generic my increasing feelings for Ashley are, I've already begun to gratify myself to her. I regularly imagine unleashing inside her, what? Having kids with her, and I actually feel authentic admiration for such an outcome. Sometimes I think about her begging me to impregnate her. That mere motion ignites arousal in both my body and mind. Okay, Onision, we know you have a breeding kink. Can you please shut up now? I'm such a puppet of biological programming, and so are all of you. Ashley's voice is one I can easily enjoy listening to for some time. Her facial proportions are beyond sufficient, and she's generally healthy, likely more so than me. So Arthur, tell me about this broad that you've gone with. Well, her facial proportions are beyond sufficient, and she's generally healthy. Oh yeah, that sounds like a good broad. Does she have a good chest circumference? What I like most about Ashley is that she has very few beliefs just like I do. You may ask yourself as to how I could say I don't have many beliefs, when it's pretty clear I've been expressing a number of opinions since the beginning of this journal. In fact, that's all you've been doing. The blunt truth is most everything I say, the activities in my life and my mentality are all in some way based significantly on facts and logic. Facts and logic are the enemy of beliefs. The more you base your beliefs on facts, the fewer traits they share with opinions. The more I learn, the more what I believe turns into what I know. Now, before I end this chapter, I'd like to mention something I went through late last week with Ashley. Finally, some plot. There's this guy, John. He hangs out with the jocks at our school, so we know he's bad. I'm fairly certain I'm going to beat the living hell out of him due to what Ashley recently told me about him. According to her, during school she was walking to her next class and he put his hands on her hips to stop so they could talk. He didn't have anything much to say to her, so it was obvious that what he was doing was purely inspired by perverted intentions. He's a teenage boy going through a lot of physical changes, but that's no excuse to put your hands on a woman. Now, I realize how primitive it is for me to mark my territory, so to speak. It is also primitive to try and solve your problems with physical fights, but that's not why I'm going on about this. Many human beings are saturated with violent and perverse thoughts, men especially. On average, the male gender regularly desires copulating with other human beings. What the legit fuck are you going on about, Arthur? These human beings are often females who appear to be capable of bearing children. They bleed on the birthing bed, clearly. John putting his hands on my girlfriend was about more than the single physical act. He took his common desires and thrust them upon someone without an invitation. Essentially, he sexually assaulted her. Ashley did not ask for that. When I have violent or perverted thoughts, I express them in this journal. I just don't go out and grow people. There's no rational justification for it. I mean, you can rant about them online too. There are shitbag sites where you can do that. John made one of the biggest mistakes he'll likely ever make. He broke the wall of his civility and turned his hormone-driven thoughts into action. I feel I should show him what it's like when people don't keep their physical desires to themselves. My girlfriend was clearly not interested in being touched, but when violating her rights, yes, everyone who cares about Ashley to violate his. Thank you for giving me an excuse, John. The end. Jesus Christ, that was a long chapter. So far, Arthur has gotten a girlfriend. That is not Abigail, her name is Ashley. And not Abigail has been touched by a jock named John. So we're getting a bit of plot here, finally. So I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Mwah.